from brokering a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia, China's President Xi Jinping has been speaking to the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the phone. The two reportedly discussed a range of issues, including how Riyadh and Tehran will move ahead with their rapprochement. To talk more about that, we're joined by Howard Stoffer, the Professor of the National Security Department at the University of New Haven. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Would you say this is a sign that China is cementing its relatively new diplomatic role in the Middle East, and is that something the US should be worried about?
Well, first of all, it is a sign that the Chinese are now venturing far outside of the Far East. And the United States President Biden welcomed the stabilization of relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Of course, you know, in 2001, they signed a security agreement to try to stabilize their relations, and it deteriorated. So this is a tenuous relationship. But nevertheless, you should know that China is depending on Iran, Saudi Arabia, and of course Russia to get all of its, or a considerable amount of its oil that it needs to fuel its economy and to fuel its military. So this is a very important step for the Chinese, and a symbolic step that they have been able to bring together two states that have been hostile to each other and now appear to be having, you know, some kind of normalization and embassies opening in each capital.
Well, what about the long-term prospects for this agreement between Tehran and Riyadh? Some people, some critics have said that this made-in-China deal might not last very long.
It may not, but right now, the good news is that this deal has reinforced the ceasefire in Yemen. And, you know, that's the second greatest humanitarian crisis after Ukraine. And of course, it'll help probably bring about some kind of a permanent solution through the United Nations there. The other good thing is that the Shiite and Sunni, conflict, which is going on for centuries, will now at least be off the table for a while in the region. And places like Lebanon and Iraq will try to reach out to Saudi Arabia and see if they can have a better relationship. Lebanon especially, because it's in desperate financial situation.
So do you think that this could bring an end to the conflict in Yemen? Some analysts that I've spoken to say that even if Saudi Arabia withdraws its military role in Yemen, the conflict will continue.
Well, they haven't been fighting since April of last year. Yes, the conflict may continue. Some people have thought that maybe Yemen would split into a north and south like it did in the 1990s. Others say that it won't do that. The Houthis are opposed to that. But nevertheless, I think with humanitarian food and medicine getting into the large population of children that really need it in Yemen, that's a positive step. And of course, Saudi Arabia had to worry about Iran acquiring a nuclear capability and being a hostile state. Now it's going to step back a little bit from that. But now it's a question for Israel and the United States to look at what is Iran going to do? Is it enriching its uranium? Is it potentially developing a nuclear capability that can break out within a month or 2 months period of time? And, you know, with the exercises that the United States conducted with Israel recently, it shows that a vast, very large military joint response would be possible. And I think that would be possible, provided that Israel can get over the situation it's in now with the judiciary. So it's a critical existential question.
The deal, the agreement between Riyadh and Tehran did take a lot of people by surprise. It caught many people off guard. What do you think Beijing's long-term interests in the region are?
Well, number one, I think they want to get, oil to fuel their economy. They don't have very many oil reserves of any kind. Now they have three of the largest oil producers in the world, not counting Iraq, let's say, but we have Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Russia providing oil at market rates, to China. China also is, looking at maybe using its military to take back Taiwan. It's looking at the United States as being, a declining power in the Far East, which it's not. It's also trying to send a signal to the United States, work with us. And if you don't want to work with us, this is what we can do. We can start to reach out and become a regional power. And it's doing that with this deal in the Middle East. Still think the United States has tremendous power and tremendous military assets in Qatar, in the UAE, and of course with deployments in Israel. And we have to remember, the Saudis do want the United States to be a part of their economy. It's just been $37 billion to buy Boeing aircraft. So it's not like things are ending between the United States and Saudi Arabia.
All right, Dr. Howard Stoffer, thank you very much.